4. Let's do 43 2/10 divided by 7. Set up my standard algorithm. 43 2/10 goes on the inside. 7 will go on the outside. Can 7 go into 4 evenly? If you're at home saying, "No, Miss Soto, it can't," you're right. It cannot go into 4 evenly. So I'm actually just going to put an X above it. And I'm going to move on to 43. 7 can go into 43 6 times. Because again, I'm using my basic math facts for this. 6 times 7 is 42. 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down the 2. Now I need to figure out how many times 7 can go into 12. Well, if I know my basic math facts, I know that if I tried 7 times 2, that gives me 14. And that's greater than 12, and we can't use that. So 7 can go into 12 one time. 1 times 7 is 7. And then now I'm going to subtract. Well, I can't do 2 minus 7, so I'm going to borrow. That 1 becomes a 0. This 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 7 is 5. And then 0, 0. But can 7 go into 5? It can't, and I can't leave it as my remainder because I'm working with the decimal. So remember, when we are working with decimals, if we do not just zero out at the bottom, we have to add a 0 in our dividend. So put a 0 here and then bring it down. Now I need to figure out how many times 7 can go into 50 evenly. Again, I know if I know my math facts, I know that 7 can go into 50 7 times. So I put 7 up here. 7 times 7 is 49. Now I'm going to subtract. Can't do 0 minus 9. 5 becomes a 4. The 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 4 minus 4 is 0. Okay, well, I didn't zero out again. I didn't get lucky this time. So now I need to put another 0. And I'm going to bring that down. And I get 10 again. No, I never got 10. I'm getting 10 this time. So now I need to figure out how many times 7 can go into 10 evenly. 7 can go into 10 evenly one time. So I put my 1. 1 times 7 is 7. I'm going to subtract. 10 minus 7 is 3. 7 can't go into 3, so I need to add another 0. I'm going to bring down that 0. And now we have 30. So now I need to figure out how many times 7 can go into 30 evenly. And if I know my math facts, I know that it can't be 5 because 7 times 5 is 35, and that will be too big. So I'm going to use 4. 4 times 7 is 28. So I put 28, and I'm going to subtract. Can't do 0 minus 8. That 3 becomes a 2. That 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. Now, we can keep going and going and going, but for space sake and time sake, whenever you come across a problem like this, I just want you to stop after 3 zeros. I don't want you to keep going and going and going and going and going. If you have to keep going and going and going, once you've hit 3 zeros, just stop, okay? Yeah, so not like the previous problems where we didn't have to keep going. You're fine like that. But if we have a problem like this where, as you can see, we can keep going, keep adding zeros, I don't want y'all to do that. I want y'all to stop at 3 zeros and then you'll be done with solving, okay? So since I'm just stopping at 3 zeros, I'm not worried about this bottom number anymore. I'm going to figure out where my decimal point goes in my answer. Remember, with dividing is super easy. All you have to do is just bring the decimal point up. So our answer is 6 and 1,000. That's 1/10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Okay. 1,077, no. 1,714 10,000ths. 6.1714. Because I think I said that wrong. Sorry, y'all. So, anyways, this is how we would do a problem where we have to keep repeating the zero. Again, or only repeat the 0 3 times. After that, just stop. Okay? All right, so now we're going to do 2 more problems, and then we'll be done. All right, now we're going to do 76 and 21/100 divided by 14. So I'm going to set up my standard algorithm. 76 and 21/100 goes on the inside. 14 goes on the outside. Can 14 go into 7 evenly? It can't, and since it's the first number, I'm going to skip it and move on to the next number and make it, a bigger number. 14 can go into 76. I don't know how many times, to be honest. So this is when we will do kind of like what we did a few weeks ago when we did dividing multi-digit numbers, where I'm just going to start multiplying the divisor by random numbers. So on the side, I'm going to do like 14. Remember, I like to start with 5 because that's my middle number, because I want to choose a number between 1 and 9. 5 is that median that I'm going to use. So 4 times 5 is 20. I'll put my 0, carry my 2. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Oh, look at that. That's pretty close to 76. But I want to know if I can get closer to it. So I'm going to go up 1 more. And I'm going to do 14 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. Put my 4. Carry my 2. 1 times 6 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. Yeah, 84 won't work. So the one we're going to use is 70. So I'm going to put my 5 above the 6, because that's what I multiplied by. Put my 70 and then subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. 7 minus 7 is 0. Bring down the 2. All right, so now I need to figure out how many times 14 can go into 62. Well, I already have 5 and 6 up here. So if 14 times 5 is 70, and I want to get to 62, let me multiply by 4 now. So over here, I'm going to do 14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Put my 6. Carry my 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. That's as close as I'm going to get to 62, because if I multiply by 3, I'm going to go even lower. So I'm going to put 4 above my 2. 4 times 14, I just did it, is 56. I'm going to subtract now. This 6 becomes a 5. This 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. 5 minus 5 is 0. That becomes 0. And then I still have another number, so I need to bring this one down. Now I have 61. So now you figure out how many times 14 can go into 61 evenly. Well, luckily for me, I already did 14 times 4, and 56 is as close as we're gonna get to 61. So put 4 above the 1. 4 times 14, I did it over here, is 56. Subtract. This 6 becomes a 5, this 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 6 is 5, and then 5 minus 5 is 0. Now, remember, when we're working with the decimal, we don't want to have like a remainder something. I want to keep going until I can't go any further, or I'm continuing like repeating numbers. So, remember, I need to put a 0 right here, and I'm going to bring it down. So now, I need to figure out how many times 14 can go into 50. Well, I got 56 over here when I did 14 times 4. So over here, I'm going to do 14 times 3 and see if I can get closer to 50. 4 times 3 is 12. I'll put my 2, carry my 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. Well, that's as close as I'm going to get to 50, because if I were to go lower, it'd be like an even smaller number. So I'm going to put 3 above where I put that 0. 3 times 14, I did it right here, is 42. Subtract. 5 becomes a 4, 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 4 minus 4 is a 0. Well, 14 can't go into 8 evenly, and I can still add 2 more zeros inside before I'm done. So I'm going to add another 0. I'm going to make this line longer. Bring down that 0 and figure out how many times 14 can go into 80. Luckily for me, I did some side work. So I started off with 14 times 5 and I got 70. And remember when I did 14 times 6, I got 84. So this tells me that I'm going to use 5 again, because 70 is as close as I'm going to get to 80. So I'm going to put 5. 5 times 14, we said was 70. Subtract. 0. 8 minus 7 is 1. Well, I can't do 14 to go into 10, so I'm going to put a 0 and bring it down. And I just realized I probably did all this wrong. And I need to figure out how many times 14 can go into 100. So over here, I'm going to do 14 times 7, because when I did 6, I got 84, so I want to go higher. So 14 times 7. 4 times 7 is 28. Put my 8, carry my 2. 1 times 7 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. That's as close as I'm going to get. So I'm going to put 98. And I'm going to subtract. 100 minus 98 is 2. 14 can't go into 2. Oh, I forgot to put... Y'all ain't tell me, Miss Soto, you forgot your 7. I put my 7 up here. Make sure you put your 7 up there, because I forgot that. My bad. Well, 14 can't go into 2, and I've already added my 3 zeros on the inside, so we're just going to stop here. So, to complete my answer, I need to put my decimal point in the answer. So I'm going to bring up my decimal point, and my answer is 5.44357.